Hello everyone, Tebrith here, and welcome to week 38 of my journey to learning TF2, where for the past week I've been practicing Spy on Man vs. Machine, and not gonna lie, a surprisingly useful method of practicing backstabs. Groups of smaller bots to practice chain stabs, and the giant bots are excellent sources to practice trick stabs, circling around them again and again as they try to get a bead on you while you sidestep and poke. Which brings me to the role I've learned Spy plays. In Man vs. Machine, he's a money-collecting giant killer, who has the power to stun groups of smaller bots should the waves start becoming overwhelming for your teammates, effectively meaning that you're responsible for slowing down the bots by any means necessary. The loadout that I like to bring is actually pretty similar to the mobile ambush, except replace the Invis watch with the Dead Ringer. The Dead Ringer is really important because since the bots are AI and not human, they fall for disguises without any real acting necessary, making it so getting behind them is pretty much child's play. Meanwhile, they lock onto you with deadly precision should you leave your disguise, making getaways practically impossible, unless you have the Dead Ringer, allowing you to leave a dangerous situation then cycle back for round 2 with relative consistency. I always disguise as either a scout or a sniper or maybe just a normal spy because it's both the simplest disguises to switch to and it's also one of the few disguises that doesn't slow you down. The other weapons I bring along is the Diamondback and Big Earner. Reason being is because as a spy in Man vs. Machine, you're pretty much going to always have crits on your gun if you're doing your job right, making it so that taking pot shots at distant enemies, especially if they have the bomb, rather trivial. And the reason why I like the Big Earner in this case is because getting that speed boost after a kill makes getting those chain stabs and getaways significantly easier, and stock Sapper because I just don't like the red tape recorder. Enough said there. Moving on to the upgrade priority that I found works for me, the first 2 upgrades I always grab as a single blip in both health on kill with the knife and health regeneration. It makes survivability significantly more bearable. Do note, I said a single blip on both of those upgrades. No need to max them out. After I grab those 2 purchases, my next priority is a mix between movement speed and armor penetration with the knife. The movement speed to help make Spy a more mobile threat, and the armor penetration to deal a lot more damage to the giant robots. At max upgrades, you can kill a giant bot in 2 to 3 backstabs, 4 if it's a giant heavy. After movement speed and armor penetration is maxed out is when I focus on the resistances, and that's very wave dependent. Just look at what's coming up and make your best judgment. Personally, I tend to focus on crit resistance first, but not always. Only ever when a crit boosted bot is coming or when I'm confident in my ability to handle what's already there. And that's pretty much the upgrade path I tend to follow as Spy in Man vs. Machine, and I have to say, before going in, I heard a lot of negative talk about Spy being the weakest class in MVM, and etc., so I was expecting a lot of toxicity going in. But once I actually started playing, no one really said anything. In fact, the one guy who didn't criticize me or anything. He actually just thanked me for dealing with the long stream of giant heavies that showed up. Seriously, there was like 7 giant heavies, and because my movement speed and armor penetration were maxed, I just ran circles stabbing them one at a time while the rest of the team were dealing with hordes of scouts, and I do believe spy bots were active at the time too. In fact, I do believe I received a lot more backlash for playing Scout back in Scout Month than I did as Spy. Something to think about. And that's about it. I know Man vs. Machine videos tend to signify the end of a particular class's month, and this is not an exception. Spy Month is officially over now, which I know sounds weird coming from halfway through the month. However, Spy effectively had 2 on and off months in a row now, so it's not like he's lacking in content. Plus, I have 2 video ideas I want to perform at the end of the Journey to Learning TF2 playlist, to which you'll have to stick around and see if you're curious, both partaking on the typical Wednesday upload schedule. And before I end the video, I just want to say that I'm both shocked and happy with how much support this series has achieved. Going in, I figured I'd get about nothing, and be able to name every view that comes in. But the fact that I actually have no idea who some of you are, I think is actually a really good thing. I met some folk through the community who all proven to be really fun people to hang around with, and ultimately had a really great time making these videos. However, with the end of Spy Month comes the 2 video ideas to the end of the year that I mentioned earlier, then a bit of a break from TF2 in general, but I'll be back. I've got too many ideas to just let sit idle, and I'm not gonna stop uploading either. And with that, I'll see you all later, and I do hope you all have a wonderful day.